Hi, the Night Confession channel is with you. Welcome. On my channel, I talk about women's stories that my subscribers send me.
She always believed that love was quiet warmth, not a spark, but a steady flame one could hold in their palms for a lifetime. Her marriage was just like that, calm, measured, undramatic. But one day she realized that the flame had dimmed and the cold crept in. Her husband was kind and attentive, yet their words had turned into a list of duties, their touches into habit, their glances into polite acknowledgment that everything was fine. And then, into that silence, another voice entered. He appeared suddenly, a new architect at her office, young but already carrying a certain fatigue in his eyes, a soft smile, a quiet presence. At first, she only helped him with work papers. Then they started having lunch together. His voice was calm, but there was life in it, something she'd been missing for years. He listened carefully, slowly, as if every word she spoke mattered. It was new, to be heard not out of obligation, but out of genuine interest. She didn't think of him as a man, not at first. Everything changed one evening when the office was empty and they stayed behind. He came closer, resting his hand on the back of her chair, and quietly said, "You look tired. I guess no one notices that at home." She didn't answer. She just looked at him. There was no invitation in her gaze, no rejection, only silence, from which there was no way back. He leaned closer. She felt his breath, and she didn't move away. Nothing happened that night, and yet everything did. After that evening, she couldn't sleep. Guilt didn't arrive right away. It came later when she realized she was waiting for the next day just to see him again. Their encounters became quiet rituals, a short coffee in the morning, a glance in the hallway, a few words exchanged online. Everything was simple, almost innocent, until one day he said, "I think of you more than I should." And she knew he had spoken the words she was too afraid to admit. They began seeing each other outside the office. At first, short walks, then evenings in his small apartment, where there was nothing but a couch, a book, and the smell of coffee. She came there to shed the weight of her roles, wife, mother, respectable woman. There she could just exist, raw and real. He looked at her as if seeing her for the first time, as if she was something more than exhaustion and quiet compromise. But every night spent with him brought a morning that returned her to reality. Her husband never suspected, but one evening as they ate in silence, he asked, "Are you happy?" That question cut deeper than any accusation. She said yes, though inside everything collapsed. From that day, every message from her lover became a reminder that she lived between two worlds, belonging to neither. When he asked her to leave with him, she didn't answer. She closed her eyes and realized she couldn't. There was her home, her son, her life that couldn't be erased. He said softly, "I don't want to be your secret." They never saw each other again. Half a year passed. She still works in the same office, his desk now occupied by someone else. Sometimes, walking home down the same street where he once held her hand, she catches herself looking for his face in the crowd. Her husband remains kind, unchanged, and every evening looking at him she thinks, he deserves the truth. But to tell it would destroy everything, and so she chooses silence. Because sometimes betrayal isn't about passion or escape, it's the desperate attempt to hear yourself in a world where no one listens anymore. And that silence she stayed in now echoes louder than any scream.
Thanks for your viewing. The best gift from you will be a like and a subscription.